Hi guys, welcome back to TP-Link's official channel. Thank you very much once again for everyone for joining us on the live webinar. Today we will be announcing the winners for the competition that we had. We'll also be looking at how to configure Omada's portal authentication. I will be doing a bit, and Zane next to me will be also going through some of the functions. We also just like to throw in a little bit of a brag. TP-Link has been awarded the best networking brand of 2025. This is the second time in a row. So let's get on with the video. Okay, so obviously once you've logged into your Omada cloud account, we are using essentials. So a lot of the more advanced features are not available. We will cover that in a later video. But for today, we just want to go through just some of the basics, just to show you guys how to set up the portal authentication and just a few functions that you can use with the Omada Essentials. But once you're logged in, you will see your site. We can just go to network. It will take us to our networking side of the site that we have created. Once we get in there, it's a quick, easy access. We can just go to WLAN, which was already on, but that's fine. And from here, we can just create a new wireless. This one will be our guest. And for now, we're just going to enable the gateway. Don't worry about the error message. We will go through that in another video, what the differences are. We want to enable guest network here. Reason being, when we enable guest network here, we create what is called we isolate the clients from our network. So it will help prevent people accessing our local equipment and keep them on obviously an isolated network. For the security, we need to put this off because we're going to be creating a portal which will be the authentication mode in this instance. If we want to set a rate limit, unfortunately on the Cloud Essentials, we can't create a group with rate limits. But if you want to still create somewhat of a rate limit, we can go. So for us to enable the rate limit, we can go under rate control. And here we can enable the rate control. We can basically do this on the 2.4 and the 5. Here we can just set the speed limit that SSID will actually have. We are not going to enable that for now. That is just to show you guys obviously how to create it. If you see the 6 gigahertz, that does mean that we have an either a Wi-Fi 6E or a Wi-Fi 7 device on the network. So the option will be there. If you do want to enable it, if you have those, you can actually enable that, and you will be able to set the rate limit there as well. I will now be giving over to Zane, who will be showing you guys how to create the actual portal. And then from there, you'll be able to set up your portal access.
Of course. If you go to settings, you'll find under authentication, you click on portal. It's going to take a second to load up the page. You're going to say create new portal. So here it asks you to name the portal. This is not the name of the SSID. That will be set previously on the previous setting you did under WLAN. So you can assign this any name, guest, or you can name it whatever you like. You're then going to go ahead and select your networks. You break down to your default to show you all the network names. You're going to select guest in this instance.
That's the one we just created.
That is correct. Thank you, Francois. And also, you can also do this via LAN. So usually you need to tick this as well, else your portal will not work. So yeah, we're going to say authentication type is hotspot. We will only be using the hotspot system in this instance, and we're going to say voucher. In a future video, we will explain what formauth is. It is a very useful function to collect information. HTTPS redirection is something I would advise you to enable, but it can cause errors with redirection. Basically, it's going to give you that pop-up warning where you say advance and continue. So you can keep that enabled. Here, it's up to you what you want to select. So the original URL, meaning let's say your client visited Google and you got redirected back to the portal. After he's authenticated with his voucher code, he'll go back to Google. So that's the option you select there. Or you can specify a URL. Let's say you're running a hotel or restaurant. You can put the website address here. You can specify if it's a HTTPS site or HTTP, and we'll go to that site. Or lastly, you can choose the success page. What this page does, it displays on your voucher the remaining data, how much you've used, and how much time you have left on that voucher if it is enabled. Below, a bit more downwards, we can customize the page. So there's a few different things you can change. For this example, we're going to change the background picture, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
So to do that, it's very simple. Francois has created a very lovely images for us here. You'll see at the bottom it did replace it, but the scaling is a bit weird. So we're just going to drag it down a bit. And go up here, drag it to full. And you'll see some of the changes here. So you can play around with this. You can move it about, see what looks the best for you. So I like that because it shows a bit of the TP-Link icon right above the Omada. I think that looks really, really, really good. You can adjust the logo size. That's for Omada itself. I prefer to keep this between medium and high. You can move the logo up and down as well. It's very, very easy to use. You can change the color of the boxes. This I will not do in this instance because of our color scheme looking quite good already. Button position you can move as well. You can move this a bit more centralized so it's more in the middle, so it looks a bit cleaner aesthetically. And you can enable welcome information if you do wish to do so. This is basically, you can just say, for example, hi. And that will enable that function after we save this page. It will actually show it around here if I do recall correctly.
It's at the top underneath the logo.
Ah, there we go. Thank you, Francois. Very small eye. But that's just an example of a welcome text, or if you want to add, well, there's other ways to advertise things, but you can do advertisements that way as well. Same with TOS. You can enable all terms of service. They have to click it before they sign in. Only then we will accept the voucher code.
And you can also edit the terms of service. So you can put in your specifics, what you need or what you feel is sufficient for this.
So you can do that by clicking the button mark, click down below. It says add terms. You'll give it a name. And you'll say basically what your terms are. It's going to be like when you use this Wi-Fi, it's on your own risk. Any damage is not the responsibility of the owner of the hotspot. That's on the client themselves. That's just an example, but in this case, we do not need it for this example. You can enable the copyright if you do wish. It will add a little copyright logo beneath right there, and it will automatically update if the year changes over. Or you can edit it manually here. Actually, no, I think you just have to edit it manually. Sorry about that, guys. Font size, you can adjust it to make it way bigger. If you want to be silly, you can put it to 50, but that's going to look, well, it's not going to set it at 18. It's going to look horrible. So usually we keep that to default because it takes up a lot of space then. Usually I advise to keep this between 10 to 5, depending on your screen size. It's about, okay, so 12 is the minimum. Okay, so unfortunately the text is a bit big. That's because it's on mobile view. This does look a bit different on a PC view. Besides that, you can change the copyright color. For example, if you want to make it black, it's going to look a bit odd, but you can change to black, you can change it to red, you can change it to any color you'd like. Let's keep it white for today. So then you've got show direction, countdown after authorize. What this means, it will provide a 3-second countdown timer after you enter your voucher code and log in. After that 3-second period, it will either redirect you to the URL, or it will go to the success page, depending on what you selected up here. To us, it will go to the success page. Besides that, there's not much more to explain how to set up the captive portal, except the vouchers, but first we need to save this and apply it. So that's done simply by clicking on apply. This will take a few seconds. If you go on devices, your gateway will be in a configuring state for about 30 seconds. Just wait for devices to load in. As you can see, it will say configuring. We're just going to wait for this to go to connected again. Okay, guys. So if you click on hotspot, it will open up a new tab. We've already preloaded it because sometimes it does take a second or two to open this page. Basically, what you're going to do here is create a voucher group because we're using voucher-based authentication. Quite very easy to do. You just click the big green button that says create voucher group. Yeah, you can name it 123, you can name it test, you can name it whatever you prefer. You can customize your code length. This you don't have to worry about. Unless you're running multiple sites, you can select exactly to which portal this applies. We will only have guests as that's the only one we have active. Code length 6 I'm fine with. You can change it to have English letters in it, or numbers, or a combination of both. How many do you want to create? For this example, we're just going to create 5 vouchers. That's more than enough. What you can do is you can enable clients to log in and out of the portal. You keep this option enabled. Here you can limit how many times the vouchers can be used. So you can limit it by using the voucher once. You can say unlimited for usage, or you can say limited by online amount. Meaning, let's say we select this and we want the client to have only one device online at a time with that voucher code. You'll select this. If you want it to fall away after one use, you select this. If you don't care and you want unlimited usage on the voucher, this would be your option. For today's example, we will only be doing this and leaving it on one device. Voucher durability is just how long the voucher is going to last. You can say permanent, you can say fixed date, or you can say scheduled. That's up to you and your use case. For example, we're just going to make these vouchers last, let's say, 7 days.
This is a quite nice feature with being, for example, if you have people who come in there often and they buy, for example, a 10 gig package from you. If you want to sell the vouchers, you can basically sell it in that sense. If they buy a 10 gig package from you, you can then later on, that person can return, and only after a year or whatever time you specify, that voucher will only then fall away. Obviously, if you did specify a 10 gig package, that would mean that they'll have 10 gigs until the 10 gigs are used up. That will then fall away. So it will still be available to use until the 10 gigs is up or that year has passed.
That is correct. Thank you, Francois. Also, below your duration type, voucher duration or client duration. The differences between these are, let's say your voucher is used. It will keep counting down even though the client's not connected. If you select client duration, your client physically has to be connected for 7 days to use that voucher completely if it's time-based only. You can also limit it by time or by usage, as Francois just mentioned. So if you type by usage, it will kick the user off after he's used up his 10 gigs. By time, we'll kick him off after that time period.
Yeah, unfortunately on this, like we mentioned before, we are using Cloud Essentials. And with Cloud Essentials, you don't have the data quota option available. That option is available using either the hardware controller or the software controller, or if you're using the cloud standard.
That is correct. Duration, what this means is how long your session will be active. What a session is basically in layman's terms. Let's say your client's entered the voucher on the portal already, and he goes out to have lunch in a different restaurant a few kilometers away, and he comes back. It won't ask him to log into the portal again because you'll still have that session token from 8 hours ago. You can extend this or you can decrease this to your preference. By clicking this drop down, there's a few options to choose. Custom, you can even set it to, I think, minutes if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to have a really short expire time, you can do it this way. Preferably, I advise most people to leave it on 24 hours. That way your customers don't get too annoyed to have to re-auth every time they walk in, come back, disconnect, reconnect. That's basically all that duration is for. Okay, lastly, you've got print comments. So this is quite useful if you're selling packages. Let's say, for example, that's limited to 2 megabytes per second and 10 gigs. So you can type in here 2 MBS/10G, and that'll be printed with the voucher. We can actually do it like this. So we're going to go say 10G/7D as an example, meaning 10 gigs, 7 days. We're going to say save, and it's going to generate the vouchers. So how do you view the vouchers you just created? Very simple. Little icon here called details. You click on it, and there are your vouchers. Simple as that, guys. If you want to see how it's going to look when you print it, you just click the print icon. You can close out of this page if you don't really need to print it. And as I said, there's your comment. Quite useful if you want to describe what the voucher is for. From my side, I think that pretty much covers the whole topic today on our captive portal. There's going to be more in the future. And Francois, do you have anything to add that I might have missed?
No, that's it. I think, like we mentioned, obviously with the having more advanced features, you will be able to set your data quotas and your time limits. So that function we will be going over through in a later video. We just wanted to introduce the Omada Essentials, so the free option, to you guys, and how to configure it and how to set it up. Okay, guys, let's see who the lucky winners are.
Well done to Stephen.
Stephen is our first winner.
Wayne Anderson. That's quite a good one. Look forward to giving you your prize soon, Wayne. Annika, well done.
And the last winner, let's see who this is.
And Sheila, well done.
Perfect. That is our 4 winners. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. It will just grow. Like we said, we will be doing more videos based on these features, just to give you guys a little bit more info on Omada. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.